Today's agenda: Jesus heals 2 blind men. A prophet is not without honor. The harvest is plentiful. The names of the disciples. Jesus instructs them. Am I a sheep or a wolf? King Herod hears about Jesus. Why John the Baptist was imprisoned and beheaded. A large crowd follows Jesus. You give them something to eat, he says. Jesus and Peter walk on water. Matthew 9:24 and onwards. Jesus heals 2 blind men. And when Jesus departed from there, 2 blind men followed him, crying and saying, You Son of David, have mercy on us. And when he was come into the house, the 2 blind men came to him, and Jesus said unto them, Do you believe that I am able to do this? They said, Yes, Lord. He touched their eyes, saying, According to your faith, then, be it unto you. And their eyes were opened, and Jesus strictly charged them, saying, See that no man knows about this. But they, when they were departed, spread abroad his fame throughout all that country. As they went out, behold, they brought unto him a dumb man possessed with a devil, and when the devil was cast out, the dumb spoke. And the multitudes marveled, saying, It has never been seen like this in Israel. But the Pharisees said, He cast out devils through the prince of the devils. And he went out from there and came into his own country. And his disciples followed after him. And when the Sabbath was come, he began to teach them in the synagogue. And many, hearing him, were astonished, saying, Where did this man get these things? And what is the wisdom that he has been given, that even such mighty works are wrought by his hands? Is not this the carpenter, the son of Mary, and the brother of James and Joseph and Judah and Simon? And are not his sisters here with us? And they were offended at him. But Jesus said unto them, A prophet is not without honor, except in his own country, and among his own kin, and in his own house. And he could there do no mighty work, except that he laid his hands on a few sick folk, and healed them. And he marveled because of their unbelief, and he went around the villages teaching. And Jesus went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues, and preaching the gospel, or the good news, of the kingdom, and healing every sickness and every disease among the people. But when he saw that the multitudes were gathered together to see him, he was moved with compassion on them, because they fainted, because they hadn't had anything to eat, because they came from a long distance. They were scattered all over the place, as sheep having no shepherd. And he said unto his disciples, Truly the harvest is plenteous, but the laborers are few. Pray therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he will send forth laborers into his harvest. The names of the disciples, Matthew 10. And when he had called unto him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits, to cast them out, and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. Now the names of the 12 apostles are these: the first, Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew his brother, James the son of Zebedee, and John his brother, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew the publican, James the son of Alphaeus, and Lebbaeus, whose surname was Thaddeus, and Simon the Canaanite, and Judas Iscariot, who also betrayed him. These 12 Jesus sent forth, and commanded them, saying, Go not in the way of the Gentiles, or into any city of the Samaritans, enter you not, but rather go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as you go, preach, saying, The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely you have received, freely give. Provide neither gold, nor silver, nor brass in your purses, nor scrip for your journey, neither 2 coats, neither shoes, nor staves, for the workman is worthy of his meat. And into whatsoever city or town you shall enter, inquire who in it is worthy, and stay there until you're ready to go. And when you come into a house, salute it. And if the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it be not worthy, let your peace return to you. And whoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words, when you depart out of that city or house, shake off the dust off your feet. Truly I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable in the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be therefore wise as serpents, and harmless as doves. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. And you shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. But when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what you shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what you shall speak. For it is not you that speaks, but the Spirit of your Father which speaks in you. And the brother shall deliver up the brother unto death, and the father the child. And the children shall rise up against their parents, and cause them to be put to death. And you shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endures to the end shall be saved. But when they persecute you in this city, flee unto another. For truly I say unto you, you shall not have gone over the cities of Israel till the Son of Man be come. The disciple is not above his master, nor the servant above his Lord. It is enough for the disciple that he be as his master, and the servant as his Lord. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more shall they call them of his own household? Fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, nor hid that shall not be known. What I tell you in darkness, speak in light. And what you hear in the ear, preach upon the housetops. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the life, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both the life and body in Gehenna fire. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing, and one of them shall not fall to the ground without your Father knowing about it? But the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Don't be afraid, therefore. You are of more value than many sparrows. Whoever, therefore, shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven. But whoever shall deny me before men, him I will also deny before my Father which is in heaven. Think not that I am come to send peace on the earth. I did not come to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. He that loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he that does not take up his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. He that finds his life shall lose it, and he that loses his life for my sake shall find it. He that receives you receives me, and he that receives me receives him that sent me. And he that receives a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward. And he that receives a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward. And whoever shall give to drink unto one of these little ones a cup of cold water only in the name of a disciple, Truly I shall say unto you, he shall in no wise lose his reward. And it came to pass, when Jesus had made an end of commanding his 12 disciples, he departed from there to teach and preach in their cities. And King Herod heard of Jesus, for his name was spread abroad, and he said that John the Baptist was risen from the dead, and therefore mighty works do show forth themselves in him. Others said, This is Elias. And others said, It is a prophet, or maybe one of the prophets. But when Herod heard thereof, he said, This is John, whom I beheaded, for he is risen from the dead. For Herod himself had sent forth and laid hold upon John, and bound him in prison for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife, for he had married her. For John had said unto Herod, It is not lawful for you to have your brother's wife. Therefore Herodias had a quarrel against him, and would have killed him, but she couldn't do it. For Herod feared John, knowing he was a just man and an holy. And he watched him, and when he heard him, he did many things, and heard him gladly. And when a convenient day had come, that Herod on his own birthday had made a supper to his lords, high captains, and chief estates of Galilee, and when the daughter of the said Herodias came in, and danced, and pleased Herod, and them that sat with him, the king said unto the damsel, Ask of me whatever you will, and I will give it you. And he swore unto her, Whatever you shall ask of me, I will give it to you unto the half of my kingdom. And she went forth and asked her mother, What shall I ask? And she said, The head of John the Baptist. And she came in immediately, and went to the king, and asked him, saying, I will that you give me by and by in a charger the head of John the Baptist. And the king was exceedingly sorry, yet for his oath's sake, and for theirs which sat at the table with him, he could not reject her. So immediately the king sent an executioner, and had his head brought. So an executioner went and beheaded him in the prison, and brought his head in a charger, and gave it to the damsel. And the damsel gave it to her mother. And when John the Baptist's disciples heard of it, they came and took up his corpse, and laid it in a tomb. And the apostles gathered themselves together unto Jesus, and told him all about this, and everything else, both what they had done, and what they had taught. And he said unto them, Come yourselves apart into a desert place, and rest a while. For there were many coming and going, and they had no leisure so much as to even eat. And they departed into a desert place by ship, privately. And the people saw them departing, and many knew him, and ran afoot there out of all cities, and outran them, and came together unto him. And Jesus, when he came out and saw much people, was moved with compassion toward them, because they were as sheep not having a shepherd. And he began to teach them many things. And when the day was now far spent, his disciples came unto him and said, Hey, you know what? This is a desert place, and now the time is far past. Send them away, that they might go into the country round about, and into the villages to buy bread for themselves, for they have nothing to eat. He answered and said unto them, You give them something to eat. And they said unto him, Shall we go and buy 200 penny worth of bread, and give them to eat? And he said unto them, Well, how many loaves do you have? Go and find out. And when they knew, they said, 5, and 2 fish. And he commanded them to make everybody sit down by companies upon the green grass. And they sat down in ranks by hundreds and by 50s. And when he had taken the 5 loaves and 2 fishes, he looked up to heaven, and blessed, and broke the loaves, and gave them to his disciples to set before them. And the 2 fishes he divided among them all. And they all did eat, and were filled. And they took up 12 basketfuls of the fragments and of the fishes. And they that did eat of the loaves were about 5,000 men. And straightway he constrained his disciples to get into the ship and go down to the other side before unto Bethsaida, while he sent away the people. And when he had sent them away, he departed into a mountain to pray. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. And in the fourth watch of the night Jesus went unto them, walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, It's a spirit! And they cried out for fear. But straightway Jesus spoke to them, saying, Be of good cheer, it's only me. Don't be afraid. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it's you, bid me to come to you on the water. He said, Yeah, all right, come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he became afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, saying, Lord, save me! And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand, and caught him, and said unto him, O you of little faith, why did you doubt? And when they were come into the ship, the wind stopped. And then they that were in the ship came and worshipped Jesus, saying, Of a truth, you are the Son of God. And when they had passed over, they came into the land of Gennesaret, and drew to the shore. And when they were come out of the ship, straightway they knew him, and ran through that whole region round about, carrying about in beds those that were sick, wherever they heard he was. And wherever he entered, into villages or cities or country, they laid the sick in the streets, and besought him that they might be touched by him, even if it was only the border of his garment. And as many as touched him were made whole.